Welcome to the KO Boxing Show. Haven't we got a massive show tonight? None other than two-division world champion, Gerry Fearless Penalosa, all the way from the Philippines. Gerry, welcome to the KO Boxing Show.
Oh, it's a big pleasure of mine being interviewed by the KO Boxing Show, the popular boxing show, not only in Australia, but all over the world, with a good friend of mine, Mr. Maniatis. He's my compadre.
Thank you, Gerry. Gerry, let's go into your career, because you're a two-division world champion, WBC and WBO, and also your brother, Dotty Boy Penalosa, was also a former world champion. You're a southpaw, 55 wins, 37 knockouts. In 1997, you fought Hiroshi Kawashima, and that was for the WBC Super Flyweight World title. What can you remember about that?
Oh, I can't forget that fight. That fight, that guy Hiroshi Kawashima, giving me really hard time. I won, but it's not easy, you know. It's a close fight. We're just lucky that, you know, we have the will to win till the last round. We got it, and then thanks God, we won.
You made 3 successful defenses, Gerry, and then 10 years later, you jumped up and you fought Johnny Gonzalez for the WBO Bantamweight World title, and you won that by knockout. What a marvelous set. How was that to fight Gonzalez?
Oh, Gonzalez is a tremendous fighter. You know, maybe I'm lucky that night. I'm behind all the scorecards and all 3 judges. But you know, boxing is it's impossible. It's nothing. We hit Johnny Gonzalez in the ribs, and then he got knocked down. He did not stand up, and then we won. So make us two-division world champion. I'm very thankful.
Your brother also, Dotty Boy Penalosa, he was a world champion, so it's in the bloodlines. And you also fought Daniel Ponce de Leon, and that was for a super bantamweight world title. So you stepped up a lot of divisions, Gerry. You were probably one of the leading Asian fighters back then, winning world titles in different weight classes. Do you remember your fight with...
Ponce de Leon is bigger than me, stronger than me, hit like a lightweight. So, but you know, we give him a tough fight, and we lose. But I'm still proud, you know, because I give him a hard time.
Oh, you did, and Ponce de Leon also ended the career, I think, of Ray Boom Boom Bautista for the Filipino fans out there. He was going to be the next Manny Pacquiao, and he ran into Ponce de Leon, and he was never the same after that KO, was he? Now, also, Gerry. No, I was saying Ponce de Leon, he had a big knockout win over Ray Bautista as well, Boom Boom, the Filipino boxer. Yeah. I was going to say, also, you have a Bachelor of Science in Criminology. How, explain about that degree.
Oh, you know, it's the will, because I really want to finish my studies, you know, and that's my dream, to be a world champion, and at the same time to be graduate in college courses, you know. So I'm very thankful to God we got both. So that's my trophy, and I'm proud to show it to my kids and all the people that, you know, at least if ever we cannot make a champion in the world, but we have fallback. We study, and then, you know, it's a big help.
You were trained by Freddie Roach as well, and I mean, Freddie Roach said that you're the best technical Filipino boxer he's ever trained. So that's a massive rap coming from Freddie Roach. What was it like training with Freddie Roach at the Wildcard?
Oh, wild card, all the very good fighters are there. You will learn from that gym. Aside from Freddy, so you can meet or you can spar with any other very good fighters. So you will learn, and then Freddy is very disciplined and he has lots of techniques. So I'm very lucky. I'm one of his students, so I learned a lot from him.
Gerry, you help so many people. You're a philanthropist. You do so much for charity and you help so many of the Filipino people. But you've also given back to boxing because since you finished your boxing career, you've become a successful manager and promoter in the Philippines. And you put on world-class shows and you put on world titles and you've got the TV backup. And I remember you and I actually did an event with Randy Penalosa in Cebu when he fought Michael
Uh-huh.
Rodriguez. And we actually went to your birthday after the event in Mango Square. We had a terrific time. But getting back to your events, you have Dave Penalosa, who's your nephew. You've got Carlos Cesar Penalosa and Dory Boy Penalosa. How are those boys going? Because they've all got terrific records. Dave Penalosa, 16-1 as a featherweight. Carlo Cesar Penalosa fought for an IBO world title. Very unlucky. He's 14-2. And Dory Boy Penalosa, 19-0, undefeated, all under your tutelage. Give us where they are in different stages now of their careers.
At this point of time, because of the pandemic that we're suffering right now, promoting boxing in the Philippines, or not only here in boxing, I think all over the world is not that easy. But because of our love in boxing, so we always make way, and very hoping that anytime soon we can promote boxing event. And
Oh,
regarding all my boys, just same thing. I've told him, just hold on, just pray, and then just make sure that you're in good health. That anytime if there's a boxing match are allowed here, so let's go.
you,
Let's show the world that we are world class. So you have to help each other. And
you're
I'm very hoping that boxing in all over the world can be start soon, and with the proper guidelines, the enhancement. Same thing with America. They promoting boxing right there in Australia. So I hope anytime soon we can do a boxing event.
Gerry, you have a brilliant boxing mind. There's not many smarter people than you in boxing. You understand levels and talent. There's a couple of Filipino boxers at the moment. For mine, there, I want to ask you about them. The first one's Carl Martin. I know you promoted Carl Martin. He's undefeated. How far can Carl Martin go? There's a bit of Manny Pacquiao about him when you see him from the back. He moves well. What can you tell us about Carl Martin?
Again.
Carl Martin. Carl Martin, the Filipino boxer, the bantamweight. What can you tell us about him as a prospect? How far can Carl Martin go? Carl Martin.
Oh, you know the Ipuga boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a future of Philippine boxing. And not only him, there's a lot of boxing Filipino fighters here. He's a good future as long as he continue discipline, still have focus, and then dream to be a world champion. I think it's a big thing. I hope I can show all his talent not only here in the Philippines. He campaigned with, especially in the US. I think as long as with proper management, proper guidance, he's a big thing. And not only him, I think Filipino are fighters, are warriors. Same thing with Australian boxers. I think as long as they continue their hungriness in boxing, I think they have future.
Your sparring sessions with Manny Pacquiao over 20 years ago, Manny was just a kid. I'm told by a lot of the old school people, one session was in Baguio and the other session was in a gym in Manila. And Manny learnt so much from sparring you, and that's why now you and Manny are best friends. He's actually your best buddy. What was it like to spar a young Manny Pacquiao back in the day, back then, did you ever think that he'd become an 8th division world champion?
The first season I sparred with him, I can tell right there and then. I think I said to the people around me at that time, this guy will be the next boxing superstar in the Philippines, because
Wow.
he can punch, he's quick, and his will to win is, is something. So I told him, just continue discipline. You have a bright future in boxing, and I told him that you should continue your discipline, your focus, and hear what people around you. I think I don't think I will make mistake. That's what I told him. Now is my Pacquiao is something. Is awesome. His record is unbreakable. So I'm very thankful. I sparred with him, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, no, and it's everyone talks about it. The old school people tell me the Baguio sparring session and the other sparring session in Manila, you had to be there to see it because it was something to be witnessed. And they said Manny learned so much from that to be the fighter that he is now. You taught him so much in those sparring sessions, and it's great that you and Manny now are like brothers. Really, he respects you so much, and wherever the door's always open. I know at the Pacquiao household for you, and your brother trains him as well, so it's a family connection. Where for you, Gerry, now as a successful promoter, and obviously you've got so much influence now in Asian boxing. For you, where does the next superstar Manny Pacquiao come from, or will there ever be another Manny Pacquiao?
Manny Pacquiao, the good thing about him is I can see his will to win. Once he
Yeah.
said I will do it, and then he will try all his best. He will not stop until he will learn. So I think Manny Pacquiao is, I think, once in a million fighter. He disciplined. He worked hard. Really, even now he's at his age. He's like 41, but still, if he practice, he's very. He's the only one. I think Manny Pacquiao is the only one fighter I've seen for my whole time career. He run very fast, like an hour, and then in the afternoon he will kill himself in the gym. So it's not impossible. In the actual fight, it's easy for him because it's already hard for him in the gym, so it's easier in the fight time.
You'd have so many stories about Manny Pacquiao. Tell us your favorite story of Manny Pacquiao, because for the viewers out there that don't know Manny's very complex character. He likes to play chess. He's a fanatic basketball player. He does other things in life but boxing. Tell us some of the stories, or a good story that you could tell us about Manny that is a funny story. Is there any stories that you with Manny that happened?
There's a lot of things, lots of memories. Maybe one I remembered. We used to be in one room in Los Angeles for like a year. We stayed one room with Boboy and my brother. So I remember maybe like 20 years ago, 22 years ago, he told me he will be the next congressman in Sarangani or in Jinsan. And then not, I think 10 years after he became a congressman, and then I think a year, 3 years after he became a senator. Now we don't know. I think he's dreaming to be in the higher position. So I don't know who next for him. But as far as I remember, 20 years ago, he said he wants to be a public servant. He wants to be a politician. He wants to be a congressman first, mayor or congressman, and then next he said, I want to help people. If I have the chance, he will run for president. I said, wow. I I can't forget because I'm thinking of that time. Oh, you're dreaming. Maybe this guy is dreaming. But his will, like what I said before, his will is really, and he has good heart. I can
Yeah.
assure he has good heart, and then once he do it, it will from the heart. So I think we're lucky. Filipino people are lucky to have like Manny Pacquiao, because in and out of the ring, he is good heart. So that's the thing I like Manny Pacquiao.
If Manny was a candidate, I'm sure when the time's right, the Filipino people are going to embrace him in any role as a politician, because if Donald Trump can be the president of America, Manny Pacquiao can be the president of the Philippines. That's a statement I'll make on that one. Gerry, what's Manny's next fight? Where do you think? There's talk of Manny fighting Conor McGregor. There's talk of Manny fighting Mikey Garcia. There's talk of Manny fighting Amir Khan. It's just a lot of talk. If you were advising Manny, which I know that you're a confidant of Manny and you are a very intelligent man, there's even talk of Manny fighting Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. But out of all those names I mentioned, where do you think Manny should be looking at as his next opponent?
I think uh, if I have the chance, I will tell him to fight Conor McGregor. Even though McGregor is bigger than him, are we bigger than him? McGregor is like 170 pounds in his last fight, and Manny Pacquiao is only like 146, 145, not even at welterweight division. But Manny Pacquiao's power is like a heavyweight, and Conor McGregor has no experience, and I think it's the easy one, easy fight for him, and then bigger fight for him. So I go with Conor McGregor, because when it comes to business, McGregor is big PD, and easy fight for him. So I don't want to take any risk for him. But even if he fight with those guys, the best welterweight right now, maybe Terence Crawford, Amir Khan, Errol Spence, Mikey or Danny Garcia. I still think Manny Pacquiao's will to win will conquer them.
Wow, that's
But if I Manny Pacquiao, I don't want to fight those guys. I'm already a legend. I'm not saying anything, but he already proven all over the world. He fights those guys at his prime, at their prime, like De La Hoya, Hatton, Cotto, Margarito. Those guys are something. But Manny Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao beat all of them. So it's already proven that Manny Pacquiao is something. So if at this point of time, I can see I want Manny Pacquiao to fight Conor McGregor, if not Mayweather. Mayweather, of course, he lost to Mayweather, so it's a challenge for him, and that's a big money also.
No, I agree, Gerry. But would you do?
Pacquiao is man. Is the big thing.
But would you do Conor McGregor at 160 pounds? He wants it at 170 pounds. That's too big for Manny. But I'm pretty sure McGregor would make middleweight. Would you do the fight at 160 pounds, Conor McGregor and Manny?
Conor McGregor fought Mayweather at 153 pounds.
I think he came
So
155. Yeah, he came. Even if you made it at 160 pounds.
There's no reason for him to fight for 160 or more than 160. Maybe 155. I still go with Manny Pacquiao, or even 160. But I don't want to risk. That's too big for him. Manny Pacquiao is only not even at welterweight. So 155 is reasonable, and I think Manny Pacquiao still will kill Conor McGregor.
And I'm sure if that fight happens, Gerry, you and I will be there.
McGregor
you and
is
I
an easy target.
For sure. And I'm sure if that fight happens, Gerry, you and I will be there ringside, and we'll be laughing afterwards with a victory as well, because we think Manny, there's no one that can beat Manny, as you said. Once he sets his mind to it, he's an unstoppable force. But getting back to yourself, Gerry, thank you for your time for the boxing show, and keep the work you're doing for Philippine boxing, because you get ESPN involved. You get so many of the young talented fighters on there, and they all look good. And I'm pretty sure you'll probably promote Marcel as well. Emu Marcel, he's going to be the next big thing. Is he going to be a gold medalist in Tokyo, you think? The big Filipino fighter? The one MP Promotion just signed. Do you know him?
Oh yeah. I heard a lot of good things about that guy, Yume Marshall. And one time, cause out of my curiosity, I tried to look at one of his fight. And yeah, he's big, and the money is there. He's like a middleweight, with the proper guidance, and I think with Sean Gibbons, and Manny Pacquiao's, help. I think I think it will be the next world champion.
Well said, Gerry. And
He's big. He has the power. He has the speed. So with the proper training, I think he can be the next big thing.
Thank you for your input, Gerry. It was great you mentioned Sean Gibbons. He's done a lot of terrific work with MP Promotions, being the president, and he's a great guy. And I'm sure along with you, Gerry,
Sean Gibbons is something, with Manny Pacquiao. I think they have a good chemistry. I think they're doing very, very good. So I'm happy, I'm happy for the Filipino boxing people. At least we have peoples or a group that really loves boxing, or a fanatic boxing that always there when it's needed.
Thank you for your time, Gerry. Take care, my friend. 2-division world champion and a living legend of Filipino boxing. All the best, and we'll talk soon, my friend. Thank you for being on the show.
It's a big pleasure of mine, being interviewed by a good friend of mine, my buddy, Mr. Peter Maniatis of KO Boxing Show.
Thank you,
Keep
Gerry.
fighting, my friend.
Bye-bye.